Number 5. Last night, a friend hurried me out of the house so we wouldn't miss the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a couple of drinks, I reached for my phone and realized it wasn't in my pocket. I checked the table where we'd been sitting, the bar counter, and even the bathrooms. No luck. Borrowing my friend's phone, I called my number. After 2 rings, someone picked up. A low, raspy giggle drifted through the line. Then silence. The call ended. When I tried again, no one answered. Resigned, I gave up the search and went home. There, on my nightstand, exactly where I'd left it, was my phone. Number 4. When I was a kid, I was always the last one the school bus picked up. One morning, I stood alone at the stop when a bus with no other children pulled up. The driver smiled and told me to hop on. Something felt wrong. I asked, "Where are the other kids?" He replied, "We'll get them now, just get on." His tone grew pushier, but I kept saying no. Eventually, he shrugged and drove off. A few minutes later, the real bus arrived. That evening, when I mentioned it at home, my parents' faces changed instantly. They began making urgent phone calls. Looking back, I realize how worried they truly were. Number 3. Several years ago, I rented an apartment from a friend who had recently bought and renovated it. After moving in, I noticed my neighbor, a woman in her mid-40s who looked decades older, was different. She stayed up all night blasting Christian radio shows, talking loudly to someone unseen. One night, unable to sleep, I knocked on her door to ask her to turn it down. She opened it, and I caught a glimpse inside. Crosses, painted in different colors, covered the walls, along with scrawled words like Jesus and angels. The windows were painted black. The air was damp, the yellow carpet stained, roaches skittering over it. There was no dog in sight, though the smell said otherwise. She shut the door without a word, then turned the radio even louder. The next night, my girlfriend stayed over. I woke in the dark to see a figure beside the bed, watching us sleep. At first, I thought I was dreaming. Then the shadow spoke. It was my neighbor. She held something in her hand. "You should lock your doors at night," she whispered, and left. The following morning, I found her outside my window, muttering in tongues. In her hand was a plastic bag containing her dead, rotting dog. The heat made the stench unbearable. I asked another neighbor about her. He looked terrified. She had broken into his apartment once while he watched TV with his kids, standing silently behind the couch holding a power drill. I realized that's what she'd been holding in my bedroom. The police knew her well. She was a violent schizophrenic off her medication. They couldn't enter her home unless she left. I spent 2 days awake, waiting. At 2 a.m., she went to the 7-Eleven across the street. Within minutes, 3 squad cars and a special van arrived. They restrained her and drove away. She never returned. I still have nightmares of her standing over my bed. Number 2. One night, near the end of my shift, a loud crash shattered the office silence. I found a large rock lying on the floor, glass from the front window glittering around it. This was strange. Our industrial district was deserted at 11:30 p.m. I called security, packed up, and left. On my way to the car, nerves prickled my skin. I sprinted the last few steps, jumped in, and drove off. Only later did I realize I'd never unlocked the car. It had been open the whole time. A quick sweep of the back seat turned up nothing. Half an hour later, I decided to meet a friend for drinks. I hopped on my bike, riding slowly under the moonlight. That's when I heard another bike behind me. The rider drew alongside and smiled. a grin so unhinged it made my stomach drop. Then I saw it. He was riding my mother's bike. I bolted home. Her bike was gone, and the back left door of my car, one I hadn't opened, was ajar. Number 1. I worked the night shift at a campground, midnight to 8 a.m. Most nights were quiet. I'd bring my PS2 to pass the time. The only thing nearby was a lone payphone a few feet from my tiny shack. On my first week, the outgoing night guy mentioned it rang every night at exactly 4:17 a.m. Just once. He guessed it was some automated test and had never answered. That summer, with the windows closed, I barely noticed it. But in August, I left them open, and sure enough, at 4:17, the phone rang. The tone was odd, muffled, like it was underwater. One night I set an alarm, walked to the phone, and answered. Silence. I tried for a week, same result, dead air. I stopped until October, when curiosity got the better of me. This time, after my repeated hellos, I heard it, a sharp inhalation through clenched teeth, then a gravelly voice. It spoke my full name, first, middle, and last. I slammed the receiver down, heart pounding, then quickly fed coins into the phone to dial *69. The call had come from California. I lived in Indiana.